Rabbi Chalafta, son of Dosa, teaches us, when 10 people sit together and occupy themselves with Torah, the presence of God abides among them. Torah gives us strength. Torah clothes us. Torah brings the presence. But to study Torah is a task for all day and all night. Does not Rabbi Meyer teach us? He who is walking by the way and studying and breaks off his study and says, how fine is that tree? How fine is that field? Him, the scripture regards as if he had forfeited his life. His life. So great is the study of Torah. Now, listen. Whose task is it to study Torah? The world? No. What does the world know of Torah? The world is Esav. The world is Amalek. The world is Cossacks. The world is Hitler. May his name and memory be erased. Of whom then? Of the people of Israel. We are to study his Torah. We are commanded to sit in the light of the presence. It is written, the world is like a vestibule before the world to come. Prepare thyself in the vestibule, that thou mayest enter the hall. In Gematria, the words Ilom Hazeh, this world, add up to 163. And the words Ilom Habo, the world to come out to 154. The difference between the world and the world to come is 9. 9 is half 18. 18 is Chai, life. In this world, there is only half Chai. We are only half alive in this world. Only half alive. Yes. So soon now my Daniel and his good friend begin to go different ways. You will go one way, and my son, my Daniel, he will go another way. I know. I have known for a long time. Reuven, I want you to listen carefully to what I tell you now. You may not understand it, and you may never stop hating me for what I have done. I know how you feel. I do not see it in your eyes. But please, listen. When I was young, Reuven, my father, Olav Shalom, began to wake me in the night just so I would cry. He would tell me stories of the destruction of Jerusalem and the suffering of the people of Israel, stories full of pain. But mostly, he taught me with silence. He did not trust words. Words distort. Words play tricks. They conceal the heart. The heart speaks through silence. He taught me that one learns of the pain of others by suffering one's own pain, by turning inside, by finding one's own soul. Knowing pain destroys self-pride, our arrogance, our indifference towards others. Of all people, he told me, tzaddik must know pain. Reuven, the master of the universe, blessed me with a brilliant son, a boy with a mind like a jewel. When my Daniel was 4 years old, I saw him reading a story from a book and I was frightened. He did not read this story. He devoured it. It was a sad story full of pain, but my Daniel did not see that. He only saw for the first time the power of his mind and the tremendous memory he had. He was indifferent to the pain. And I cried. I cried in my heart, Master of the universe, what have you done to me? A mind like this I need for a son? A heart I need for a son. A soul I need for a son. Compassion, righteousness, mercy, strength to suffer, to carry pain. That I need from a son, not a mind without a soul. When I saw the mind my Daniel had, I knew what I must do to feed his soul, to force him to look inside himself. Yet, I did not want to lose my son, my precious son, whom I love as I love the master of the universe. I know he suffered. I know the pain, the loneliness he felt when I drew myself away from him. He was bewildered and hurt. But he learned. He suffered. And he learned to hear the sufferings of others. In the silence between us, he began to hear the world crying. Reuven, you and your father were a blessing to me. The master of the universe sent you to my son. He sent you to listen to my son's words. I knew your soul was good and that you would be a good friend. I knew it that day my Daniel came home and told me he wanted to be your friend. You should have seen his eyes that day. You should have heard his voice. 1,000 times I have thanked the master of the universe that he sent you to my son. You think I was cruel? Perhaps. But he learned. Let my son Daniel become a psychologist. I know he wishes this. I don't see the books, the letters. I don't see his eyes. I do not hear his soul crying, let my son become a psychologist. I have no more fear now. All his life, he will be a tzaddik. He will be a tzaddik for the world. And the world needs a tzaddik. Daniel, my Daniel, when you go away, will you cut off your payas?